Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and we've got breaking news in the NXIVM case. Before we get into what a judge ruled on just today, I want to go over a few of the things that have now been out in the media in the past couple of days, and really why this whole case, in my opinion, is being whitewashed on a large level. Now, everybody is focusing in on a lot of the horrors that went on. And don't get me wrong, that definitely has to be put out there. But they're underplaying a lot of the trafficking roles, a lot of the Bronfman roles, a lot of the hacking of computer roles, and things like the Rainbow Cultural Garden, which we're going to get into in a moment. So the cut, for instance, if you look at these headlines, I mean, they're horrific. Slaves had to wear dog colors and make life commitments to their master. And we've talked about this. We've talked about them giving video footage, photographs over, other testimonials, whether true or not, to be used in blackmail later. Horrible stuff. Women said they were subject to whippings, cold showers, and other forms of torture. Again, horrific. And, you know, again, a lot of these women were told to get abortions after Keith got them pregnant. In fact, we're going to get into Pamela Caffritz later on. And Caffritz at one time was essentially his confidant, his right-hand woman. She's no longer with us, by the way. Pamela Caffritz, who died overseas and had her death covered up for some time. Keith Raniere actually had access to her bank account, and if you read the indictments, was spending money from that bank account. But while she was alive, she was getting angry at women. Here, we'll just read it. Why not? Pam was upset about that. Wait, hold on. She told Caffritz, who was under the impression the health privacy laws had been violated, that McGinnis would not speak to her. Pam was upset by that and felt like these ideas had been put into their heads. I told you these are general questions. So basically what Caffritz would do would take these girls to go get these procedures done and then get angry when people asked questions about who the father was or what the circumstances were. And again, Caffritz, one of the girlfriends of Keith Raniere, dies and has her credit card used to the tune of a ton of money. Another aspect that's not really being talked about. Now, can't read it, but look at the headline. NXIVM branded was scripted by sex cult leader to be like a sacrifice. And that part is true. A lot of this has occultic undertones. And it's because of that we lose the fact that, one of these girls was held in the room for 2 years. Now, this girl apparently was made to have relations with Raniere the day after her 18th birthday. And if you read some of these mainline articles, for instance, we're really going to get deep into this Forbes article about Claire Bronfman. They really whitewash the hell out of all of this. First of all, they start talking about 2 girls that we know of. Now, we have the 15-year-old national, she was 15 at the time, that's already testified at trial, Gina Hutchinson, who's no longer with us, and now another girl, and this is the breaking news that I wanted to talk about just today. One of the girls that was talking about being with Keith Raniere when she was 12 years old, while he was running Consumer Byline, which failed, not surprisingly, as it didn't have billionaires backing it. She's not going to be able to testify. Now, a guy named James Odato, who did a ton of great work for the Times-Union, actually got sued by NXIVM. There's a lot of good stuff in this article. For instance, I was unaware that Edgar Bronfman, the father, the Hillary Clinton mentor, not just, the Seagram's billionaire, the head of the World Jewish Congress, a man that was very heavily involved in getting reparations for Holocaust survivors. Very powerful guy in politics and in business. He actually took some of these classes, apparently. After his daughters took them, and he felt like there was a positive instance. In fact, Barbara Boucher, some of this information, by the way, coming from Barbara Boucher, I want to point out, Barbara Boucher, if you go down to, where is it? My first stuff of NXIVM, right here. NXIVM Exposed. Please go watch that because it's an hour and 40 minutes. You're not going to see it anywhere else. Symposium. It gets into some of the hacking stuff and then Boucher's point of view, who, by the way, I got to say, you got to take with a grain of salt. She was with Raniere for a very long time. She claims ignorance to a lot of these things. I don't buy it. I think she's much more involved than she said she was. She shut down the lawyer a couple times who had been in lawsuits with these guys. You got to understand, there were lawsuits, not only hacking lawsuits, but lawsuits with like AT&T and Microsoft, which they lost. And Bronfman, at least in this email, appears to be concerned about the money. Now, we know from the Vice interview, for instance, that they went on record talking about how their father had manipulated the markets for them to lose money in conjunction with what? The Illuminati. Okay? And that's what Frank Parletto said. And by the way, Parletto is the owner of Art Voice, and he is also the owner of, the Frank Report. And he's done a lot of great work on this, but he's even said that he's put disinformation out there. So you have to be careful. Frank also released, again, we've talked about the connections to Salinas, the ex-Mexican president, the possibility of connections to other ex-Mexican presidents and other nationals. And he points out that the third highest rung, they have green shirts on. And look at how many children are involved in this thing. Okay, and this is in Mexico City, and they're singing happy birthday to Keith Raniere. Let's just play just a small little. Big productions. And here comes Salinas' son right here. And there he is. And they're all singing to Keith. It's very bizarre. I know that there's a lot of cult stuff out there that obviously is very bizarre, but you see this, and Salinas has been able to distance himself from this trial. We're not talking about that aspect of it. And the aspect that one of the schools down there is a rainbow cultural garden. Now, they had, I believe, 2 in Florida. This one in Miami has been shut down. There's also ones in Europe. And what is this thing? Well, Raquel Pereira, she kind of was the face of this organization. But this is where the whitewash gets out there. Yes, it's very true that, for instance, Claire Bronfman is probably only going to serve 27 months max. She's up for 21 to 72 months, and essentially, if there's more than 27 months given, she's going to be able to appeal that plea. All right, and she's going to have to be, I believe, pay $6 million in restitution. It says that she's lost over $150 million in this organization. Boo-hoo. What was she really doing? Well, if you read the indictments, she was getting visas for young girls and women to come into the country and act as professors and teachers for these toddlers at the Rainbow Cultural Garden. And remember, this girl who had relations with Raniere when she was a 12-year-old girl is not going to be able to testify in this case. Okay? She's not going to be able to testify. This has trafficking written all over it. This had high-level people in it. We know that also Claire Bronfman, and again, not mentioned in this article, again, which was very whitewashy, was the fact, again, in 2007, they ran a campaign fund scheme where they had, and when I say they, I mean Claire Bronfman and Nancy Salzman specifically, named in the indictment, would have other NXIVM members donate the maximum amount, contribute the maximum amount they could, at, I believe it was $2,700 or around $3,000. And then they would pay them back so that they could fill the coffers of Hillary Clinton's 2007, 2008, it was in 2007, presidential bid, the primaries. Okay, in return for what? Political favors, of course. And remember, their father had mentored Hillary Clinton very, very high up. After Bill Clinton became president, Hillary talks about a dinner she had with Edgar Bronfman, who she called Edgar, and she actually spoke at his memorial service. These are high-level people. You think it's a coincidence that some of these people like Allison Mack were involved in Hollywood? A lot of these were aspiring actresses. Don't you think a lot of them just went along with it because they thought that there was acting work or power in their future? Meanwhile, all of a sudden the roles of Bronfman, the roles of Salinas are kind of going into the background, and everything is being projected on Keith, who I think, in my opinion, in a lot of ways is absolutely a front man. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Look how many videos we're putting out. We're putting out a ton over here. So if you want real news, you want insightful stuff, you want to see video evidence, you want to see documents, you want to see things not from a left or right perspective, please, right now, hit that subscribe button, thumbs this video up, share it on social media, because, listen, The truth of the matter is it's tough enough just to get these done and then get people to see them. I need your support to do that. So again, please share this stuff all over. You know, I'm doing videos over at News for a Change and We Are Change as well. Make sure you check them out. And I got to thank you guys all again for joining me. More updates and news to come. Let me know in the comments what you want to hear about, what you think my best videos are, and let me know what you think of the new thumbs. Thanks again.